The NBA Finals continues tonight in Boston with the Celtics leading the Warriors 2-1, and the story continues to revolve around a former Duke star, Jason Tatum, becoming one of the elite superstars in the game. Well, today I had a chance to speak with arguably the greatest Duke player of all time, Grant Hill, who won back-to-back titles at Duke in 91 and 92, an NBA Hall of Fame career over 19 years. But after retirement, he has become a very successful businessman, part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. He is in the private equity space. He has a real estate firm, just to name of a few of the things he's doing in a busy retirement, also a broadcaster with Turner Sports and CBS. Talked to him about his new autobiography and his business philosophy, but started by asking, who will win this NBA Finals series?
I will say this. I don't know who wins tonight, but whoever wins tonight will win the series.
Okay, well, we'll take that prediction. So let's talk about the book. Game, congratulations, out this week. I'm curious, after all these years, almost a decade since you retired, why now?
I was enshrined into the Hall of Fame in 2018. And when a moment like that occurs, I think you're naturally reflective. And that was the spark. Building up, preparing for the Hall of Fame. And then afterwards, like, wow, I have a lot that I want to unpack, a lot that I want to share. And I, to me, the last accomplishment, the last celebration for an athlete is making the Hall of Fame. And so now let me talk and recap my career as an athlete and share some of those experiences, both the ups and the downs along the way.
You've evolved into one of the true business-first former athletes. I think you and Magic Johnson were two that kind of transformed how athletes became investors, business people, didn't just slap their names on products and do commercials. So you have a private equity firm, you have a real estate firm, you are head of U.S. men's basketball, a part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. Can you describe a little bit about your business philosophy?
Well, a lot of what I've tried to do in business, primarily with my real estate company and also with our private equity, a lot of the values and characteristics you take from sport, you apply in business, and working with others, collective responsibility. Managing success, handling failure, working, discipline, all of these things that I learned along the way, playing for Coach K and playing 19 years in the NBA, I find myself falling back on. That's a foundation. And so much of it is people. And you can have great talent, you can have great skill, but if you don't know how to work with others, then you're not going to maximize results. And so applying in the locker room and taking those values and applying them in the boardroom. And that's what I've tried to do, and certainly have had success doing that. But it's all about people. And you learn that in sport. You learn about sacrifice and discipline and hard work, but learning how to coexist and work and thrive with other people is so important.
Now college basketball players are being forced to learn those lessons quickly because of name, image, and likeness. Interesting that Duke has hired Rachel Baker, a former Nike and NBA executive, to handle players' journey in that regard. Has NIL helped the game, or has it harmed it? It appears to be leaning towards pay for play rather than guys being allowed to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's what we all thought it would be. And that's a little bit, concerning. I'm all for athletes profiting off of their name, image, and likeness. But when it evolves into pay for play, then that, I think, is a whole nother set of issues. I think that, along with the transfer portal, makes it very, very challenging right now. And it's a different environment and landscape. So I'm a little scared. If we don't have any guardrails, then it could very easily become pay for play. And it certainly feels like right now there are no guardrails. And it's kind of like the wild, wild west out there for intercollegiate athletics athletes.
You were part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. What do you make of the escalating, you talk about wild, wild west, the rapidly rising values of these teams, the Denver Broncos going for $4.6 billion this week?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's, look, I mean, as a history major, I learned that sports You go back to the ancient civilizations, the ancient Greeks, they would halt wars in the years of Olympics. And they understood the power of sport and how it motivates, it inspires, it speaks to people, it brings people together. And so that's only magnified in present day. And look, we bought the Hawks in 2015 for $700 million, and we were just recently valued just short of $2 billion. I think sports, as we've gone through COVID, it's been a distraction, a welcome distraction. It's been something that's been entertaining. I think we love it. We love it in real time. I think advertisers know that. The networks know that. So it's really a part of who we are as a society and our relationship with sport. And selfishly, I hope that number continues to go up. But I really do think so. I think that the amount of information, how sports now is global, particularly the NBA, there's still opportunities for increased revenue, and so it's exciting. It's exciting to be on the business side of sport and help our franchise build our infrastructure, develop an emotional connection with our audience and our fan base, and ultimately increase our valuation for investors and for our organization.
No finer example of the business in sport than two athletes this week being named officially billionaires by Forbes. Today, Tiger Woods, just a few days ago, LeBron James. What's your reaction to those two notching that historic milestone?
Well, I just think it speaks to the evolution of not just sports in terms of on the field or on the course or on the court, but also off the court. And I think to what I was saying earlier about how we perceive and how we applaud and celebrate athletes who are great and excel at what they do. Those two guys have leveraged their success to the fullest, and rightfully so. Tiger Woods, obviously, when he's in contention in a tournament, the ratings are through the roof. LeBron James has been the face of the NBA for over a decade, and so their value is reflected in their net worth. But it just shows you sort of, you think about Mean Joe Green, you think about Pele, you think about, Michael Jordan, and the bar keeps raising. And I think we'll see more Tiger Woods and more LeBron James in the years to come, because sports, like I said, is such a part of who we are. And there's always going to be the up and coming great athlete who carries that mantle, much like those two have for a long time.
Great to have Grant Hill. The book Game, his autobiography, in bookstores right now.